Emily, it seems extraordinary to think it was only 2 weeks ago that we were here discussing the storming of the Capitol by a mob, and only 1 week ago the unprecedented second impeachment of Donald Trump. But today, as you say, a very different feeling in Washington. And it wasn't simply ceremonial. We had newly inaugurated President Biden signing 17 executive orders and 2 pieces of legislation. They highlight his immediate priorities, and they also, I think, send a message that his administration plans to re-engage on the global stage. He rejoined the Paris Climate Accord, he cancelled the permit for the Keystone XL oil pipeline, he stopped construction of Donald Trump's border wall, and he rescinded that travel ban on those mainly Muslim countries that Donald Trump put in place. There was also a $1.9 trillion package of COVID relief and an immigration package of legislation to shorten the pathway to citizenship for people who are here without legal authority to be here. Joe Biden's election campaign was all about one simple message: get rid of Donald Trump and I can solve America's problems. It's not that simple, of course. These are complex problems. That, though, is a problem for another day. Today, it was all about something we took for granted, I think, in America: the peaceful transfer of power. As you might be able to make out behind me, there's still plenty of security here in Washington, but the day seemed to go off without a hitch. And that was something pretty miraculous to witness.
America invented government of the people, by the people and for the people.
But this time without any people. It's quite surreal down on the National Mall this morning. This is an inauguration like no other. Instead of tens of thousands of cheering people who would normally cover every open space here, we've got fields of flags, we've got razor wire, and we've got riot shields. And instead of cheers, we've got more or less silence.
Exactly 2 weeks since a mob marched across this grass to storm the Capitol, today it felt more like a place of reflective calm. Meanwhile, at the White House, the great disruptor, whose tenure has been marked by so much division, headed for the helicopter and for the door marked, well, what? At Andrews military base, he prepared for his last flight on Air Force One. Air Force Lost might be a better call sign, but for a few more hours he was still the Commander-in-Chief.
It is my greatest honor and privilege to have been your president.
He left with what could be read as either a benediction or a threat.
Hey, goodbye. We love you. We will be back in some form. So, have a good life. We will see you soon.
Presumably, he wasn't referring to his upcoming impeachment trial. Donald Trump became the first president to snub his successor's inauguration for 152 years. But it would be wrong to suggest anyone here particularly missed him. Inauguration is supposed to symbolize continuity and change, the past lining up to validate the present as the country looks to the future. The future with a man who's older than all the former presidents present. The swearing in of the vice president had a different historical note. The first black vice president, the first South Asian vice president, and the first woman.
I, Kamala Harris, solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
And then the man who's waited longer than anyone else for this honor, 50 years in Washington politics, on his third run for the presidency, Joe Biden stepped forward and raised his hand.
I, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
office of President of the United States.
The transfer of power was all the more significant because of the riotous insurrection of 2 weeks ago.
Today, we celebrate the triumph not of a candidate, but of a cause, the cause of democracy. The people, the will of the people has been heard, and the will of the people has been heeded. We've learned again that democracy is precious, democracy is fragile. And at this hour, my friends, democracy has prevailed.
His address could not have been more different from that of his predecessor. Where Donald Trump spoke of American carnage, Joe Biden promised a gentler America.
This is our historic moment of crisis and challenge, and unity is the path forward. And we must meet this moment as the United States of America. If we do that, I guarantee you we will not fail. We have never, ever, ever, ever failed in America. We've acted together. And so today, at this time, in this place, let's start afresh.
And so the journey that began so many years ago came to its conclusion. The end of the road to the White House is the beginning of the challenges of government. Joe Biden promised voters he could heal America and solve its problems. Now he must deliver. It is not many men who embark on the most difficult and grueling challenge of their lives at the age of 78. That is what Joe Biden and America have chosen.